My name is Rusenica. Welcome to my casual YouTube channel. I have already said everything I've said in this video, but I wanted to make a disclaimer before we get into it about how I believe that God is a woman, which is like, I'm not firm in that. That's just kind of an idea that I'm throwing out and entertaining as somebody who's kind of forming her own thoughts about religion, my own relationship with God. Like, I'm not firm in like pretty much anything. So this, like, I don't want people to take it too seriously. Please don't take it too seriously. This is not like an essay. Like, this is not a persuasive video. This is just me speaking my thoughts in a get ready with me. Because as a married woman, and I'll say this a million times in the video, but like as a married woman who also is coming into her own adulthood, her own womanhood, and her own ideas of feminism, I find that I made a lot of observations about women that are like negative and derogatory. Like most curse words, like I think it was like 70% or like 60% of curse words are based in like the idea of being feminine. Like if you want to insult somebody, you go for their femininity. But I want to reverse that and not make this video like centered in anti-feminism or like anti the idea of like what a man can do, and more pro what I find to be very positive about like women's roles, and how I believe that like the natural roles that a woman take are aligned more with what I believe God is, as opposed to like, oh, men are, like, this is not me bashing men. Like my husband right now is cleaning for us. Yeah, that's all. The things that men naturally are like called to do just doesn't seem like it would align with what God is as a being. I'm just going to go off on a tangent that I had planned for another video, but I'm just going to make it into this video. So marriage showed me that God is a woman. I am not kidding about that. I kind of am, but I'm also not really. Growing up, I'm not making this like crazy controversial stance. I'm just making observations related to men and women, and especially as somebody in a marriage, and as somebody who grew up with like multiple very nurturing, amazing, like powerful in my mind, but not like powerful in the typical way, powerful women figures. And I, as a wife, can just say semi confidently that God is a woman, because I just feel so let down by a lot of men. And I just find that like the roles that men play in society have been set up because systematically men have always been in the power, in positions of power, and women haven't been given the opportunity to be in many positions of power. So like now that that's kind of changing, and now that I see like even regular things like the way that housewives function, because I was a housewife looking for a job a couple months ago, the way that me and my husband's dynamic is, I I love my husband. He's amazing. He does what he needs to do. He's very loving, very kind. But me as a wife, I feel like women and me and just women naturally have more the ability to do good and to be loving and nurturing naturally than men have. That's like that's a really controversial thing to say because it's a grave generalization. But the girls who will get it will get it. The girls who don't will leave a hate comment. So, since being married, I feel as though my feelings of feminism have changed dramatically. Growing up conservative, I like didn't really know what feminism was. I felt like I didn't want to say that I was or wasn't a feminist, because it just seemed like that was a moment of, oh, if you're a feminist, you're like anti-men. It didn't seem like there was a lot of value in like labeling yourself as a feminism as a teenager. As a 23-year-old now, who's a wife and the head of the household, the whole head of the household thing to me is so odd. Like when people say and like reverberate that men should be head of the household, to me, I'm like, what household are we talking about? And I know that people say, oh, it's just like financially, and like they should like hold the house down and like make the rules. I think as a kid that appealed to me because I was like, I mean, like a lot of the figures that I see that are men in my house are like men of the household. So like, what's the problem with that? Like, I want to be a housewife. I want to chill for the rest of my life. If I could just chill, I'd be fine. Now, as a wife who is the only one working, supporting my husband and I, as he goes to school, and the one who cooks like every meal. It used to not be every meal because I was like not about it, but now I'm about it because he just doesn't care about the meals that we eat. As somebody who more so will make genuine attentive observations about like how we need to put in maintenance to our relationship, I feel as though that's not exclusive to me as just this woman in a relationship. I feel like it's very common to other women in relationships. Like we all see that men are men of the household. Like it's a common idea that people play into. Like men should be men of the household, but women maintain the household, set the tone for the household, um, upkeep the household. Like, I need to change this up once again. But what was I forgot where I was even at because my husband came home. I got nervous, and then like now I can't think a single progressed thought. The idea of men of the household, dumb as somebody who works and still does like all of the typical tasks that a woman is to do. You're the head of the household, but it's like, okay, you don't even know what goes on in the household. Really? Like, I feel blessed and lucky that my husband is a clean freak and like cleans and like actually does contribute to a lot of the things that happens in the household, you know what I mean? But when it comes to the typical like feminine things that have to happen in order for life to be sustained, like getting groceries, cooking the groceries, buying any of the house products, decorate, I don't know, like just normal things that like make a house. Without women being the powerhouse of the house, what the heck is the point of the men of the household when like the household only exists due to the woman of the household? I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more to go off on that. And then also, I don't want to speak too in depth because I feel like it'll get me in trouble with nobody but the people who just view my channel, I guess. My tiny, tiny community. Women are so powerful, life givers, caring, nurturing. There's so many more absent fathers than there are absent mothers. I feel as though anytime I talk about also the idea of like a favorite parents are always typically the mothers because mothers know how to nurture and to communicate with the children. And like, I just feel like women just have their priorities set straight naturally. And like it's like so impressive when a man just is a good person. Like when he just naturally has good morals and good ethics. That's like that's like a it's I was gonna say it's like a unicorn, but it's impressive, but it's so sad that it's just like natural and normal when just like a woman is just like a good woman, you know? God, that's ugly. Ew, I have to redo this. Naturally, I just feel like women have so many more pros, so many more natural abilities to nurture and to be the head of a house. And silly that we have put the head of household on man when men don't even know what's going on in a household and just naturally seem to be hard for like them to be just good men by nature. You know what I mean? Like also the idea that like every powerful figure, every leader who you look up to has some sort of dirty little secret. Like the other day I found out that MLK cheated on his wife. I'm sorry, wait, what? You can look that up. I looked it up. It's very discouraging and very depressing. But that's like a normal idea. Even starting from young, like boys will be boys, so boys will do destructive, bad things. Then growing up now as an adult, not really that much of a shock if you find out that like a man is cheating on his wife. Like I just the things that men naturally are like called to do just doesn't seem like it would align with what God is as a being. God is loving, God is patient, God is kind, or love is patient, love is gentle, love is kind, but like God is love. So at the end of the day, God is patient, love, God is giving, love is whatever. It just doesn't seem like men naturally have it. So why did we make the idea of men as what? I think I'm done with my hair portion, but I have to get to my makeup portion. So now we're on to the face portion. And I need to do this quickly because DoorDash delivered and I'm hungry. So I'm like really hungry. Although I just went on a tangent about how men or Women are just like naturally, I feel like, just more inclined to do good than men are. I really do appreciate the men in my life who have shown me like what it is to be a good man. I'm not like somebody who just wants to bash an entire gender and just leave that out of the video that like like I don't have good men in my life. Like I do. I love my husband. It feels bad to say because I grew up like with everything in my being telling me not to say things like that. But uh is what it is. I'm putting on primer. I don't even know if anybody cares about that little step that I had to like clarify. Ooh, it's like really fun. I have this struggle. Well, I mean, I feel like this is kind of just like a common struggle that you go through when you're married or maybe even when you just live with somebody. Wanting to remind your husband or your partner or whoever the heck to do kind things for you. I don't know, there's this push and pull of like I haven't been feeling that good lately about myself. Like, can I just straight up tell my husband, hey, if you like could buy me flowers, or if you could just straight up write me a note about how you appreciate me, like my day would like that would just like kind of make my day. You know, because then it's like, okay, but that's like really transactional just to even throw that out there. Because it's like, okay, I am requesting this thing that I would hope that you could do from like the bottom of the kindness of your heart. But if I'm like telling you to do something from the kindness of your is that a genuine request? I don't know. I have this push and pull in my marriage because they always say, like, communicate. You're going to always have to communicate. And I always do, but I'm on like that like seventh time of just like asking my husband, hey, if you could just like appeal to my love languages, I would really appreciate that. And it's kind of like, and I will have to talk about this with more people, but the idea of asking somebody to do something kind for you every time and then feeling like your husband or partner, whoever, is just doing things just to appease you as opposed to like doing it out of the kindness of their heart because they like care about you is such a hard thing to revel with because then it almost kind of makes you feel like when you do something kind for them out of the kindness of your heart, you want to be like, see, which is not how it's not how it should be. Like I should do something out of the kindness of my heart just to do it, you know? Like I shouldn't do it expecting anything in return. When you're married, it's like, how come I'm like even doing any of these things? You don't like care about doing any of these things, and I have to remind you to like do kind things for me so that whenever I do kind things for you, you like have that incentive because I do things for you. But then it's like basically it's hard feeling like reminding your husband to do things for you is ethical because I don't want my husband to feel like he owes me anything. I just want him to do things out of the kindness of my heart, but the only way that he will is if I ask him. But it gets really exhausting to ask. But also as somebody with ADHD, and like a love language that requires not a lot of thought on my end versus my love language requires a lot of thought and a lot of effort. It's hard to speak up and not feel bad about it because I'm gonna be doing this for the rest of my life. Yeah, like I've asked my husband 7 times if he could just like do something sweet for me because I've been feeling a little bit low, you know, like my little tank is empty, like we all like to receive sweet things or have our love language appeal to, but it's just hard to ask for it. At the end of the day, you just have to remind yourself, constantly, the person that you're with and you know their heart and you know that they would do anything for you to make you happy. But it is so hard to recognize that and to just want it to just be shown without having to reverberate it. Now that we're on the topic of just like gender, I feel like I out talked the whole like God is a woman thing. So I'm just gonna go to gender differences. And I'll be done when you come out the freaking bathroom. Oh my god, so annoying. No, let me just explain one thing. My husband, okay, I wake up this morning. My husband's working on his stuff. I say to him, I'm gonna get Perkins while you're out because I knew he was going out and he was like, oh, let's get Perkins together. Perkins is like a Midwest breakfast diner thing. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. You come back, we'll get Perkins together. That was at like 11. I'm like waiting for him to come back so we can get Perkins. I imagine it was only gonna take like an hour because there's no way if I suggest if I'm gonna get Perkins for the breakfast time, for morning time, that he wasn't going to be back like within an hour. And he was like, oh, I'll just be back soon. And then he comes back at like 2 p.m. So I'm like, okay. And no, he tells me he's not gonna be back by like 2 p.m. or something. And then I text him like, okay, fine, I'm just gonna order Perkins. Because it was just getting late. Like I'm like starving here because he's just taking forever. And I thought he was gonna be back by 1 p.m. so we could get Perkins, but it's like 2, which is so annoying. And I'm like, whatever, I'm just gonna order Perkins. And I was gonna order Perkins without his order because like that's what he would do for me. Like, like men just think about themselves and like do not take women into account for the most part unless you remind them to. But, I was like, let me be a good wife and just order some stuff for him too. Even though he didn't ask, I'm just like thinking about him. And then as I put in the order, I start this video. He comes back, he's waiting for me to finish. Uh, and as I'm not finished with this video, I haven't eaten it and it's like 3. And now he's mad at me because I'm taking my time. When it's like, you were the reason why I wanted to order this thing and the reason why I'm taking my time. Because you didn't come you didn't come home in a timely manner. Irritating. So irritating. Yeah, I don't recommend marriage. So I get why he's feeling this way, but also like, can he get why I'm feeling this way? One last little like thing. I am gonna be wearing a sweater that's like cream, and I'm debating if I want to wear a scarf like this because oh my god, it just adds so much class when you like wear something like this. Like imagine I have a shirt on underneath. I'm just gonna take off my pajamas because it looks hella silly. Should I wear something like this? Because this is like cute. Like I love this. It makes me feel like I don't know, it just makes me feel like myself. Or should I put this up and just wear it by my hair? It should be like this. This is cute. Like, this is so cute. But it just feels childish because I used to do this a lot when I was in high school. So now that I do it as an adult, I'm like, oh my god, like, are we regressing or what? I don't care. Headbands are timeless, and the way that I'm wearing it feels adult.